Hello.
Hello.
Hey, hi guys.
Hi, Sonali.
Hi Tejal.
Hi, Sonali.
Hi Neha. Hi Ronak.
Hello, how are
So
you?
I'm good. I'll quickly introduce myself. If you guys can also give me some review, that will be great. So I have 6 years of experience into testing. Majorly, I have worked upon automation testing with combination of manual testing as well. Currently working with Ivanti. I have experience on working with various things like Selenium with Java, Selenium with C Sharp, and other technologies as well. Uh, I worked upon different domains as well: finance, ITSM, healthcare domain, insurance domain. So yeah, uh, can you guys also give your introduction one by one?
Yeah, hi, Sonali. My name is Neha Gar. I did my master's in biotechnology, but now I switched my career as a QA and manual and automation test engineer.
Okay,
So I'm very fresher now. So I know all the basic about all the basic, but I'm not much know about the project.
okay, okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Hi,
Yeah,
this is Ron. Oh,
yeah. Go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
Please go ahead, Ronak.
Okay, so hi, this is Ronak. I have a bachelor's in business IT. I was working in a sales role and more of a management role, looking to get into the technical side as far as a QA tester. Would
Mhm.
prefer automation. So took this boot camp with Wynisco and learned Selenium, Java, SQL, and all that. Just need some project train, like project experience, and hopefully after this, it should help me get a job.
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, hi Sonali, my name is Tejal Pandya. Actually, I have done my master's in English literature. So back when I was in India, I was working as a lecturer in a BCA college. So I have some knowledge regarding technical things also. And as far as this QA thing is concerned, it was going pretty well with the training. I was understanding quite a bit about it. Just the lacking side is I don't know how actually things are done in real time in a project. So that's what I'm looking forward to learn from you.
Okay, okay, great. So, what I believe is you guys will have gone through the manual testing part, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So today, our main focus will be on the API testing using the Postman. All right. So we'll be looking into a project. It's e-commerce based application, and we'll be looking into it. Before that, I'll get started with I'll just give you a overview how in real time, how in actual industries like, what's there any other person? Priyanka. Priyanka is not there, right?
Hey Ronak, is Priyanka there?
No, I guess not.
Actually, she won't be able to join today. She had to go to her work today.
Okay. So would you
But
fill her up with whatever she would be missing out?
yeah, definitely. I'll let her know, and she should be able to join starting tomorrow.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Okay. Sure.
Yep.
Sorry, Sonali, Sonali, you can continue.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. Yeah. So I just wanted you guys to understand first how in real time, how do we work as a QA? So we'll just go into the flow. We'll look into the Jira board as well, where all the tasks are maintained, and then we'll hop onto the application, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So basically what happens is like we will be getting product requirements. So these requirements we will be getting from the product owner. So these things, if you'll catch it right, so it will be very useful in your interviews. This is the usual things that we need to mention in the interviews as well. So we'll be getting the product requirements from the product owners. These requirements will be in the form of product backlog item, which will be there into Jira or in Azure DevOps. All right. So majorly people use Jira. So what will they do is they will mention out all the points that in this particular feature, what do they need to develop? What do the developers need to create? How it will be designed? What will be the front end? How the front end will look like? How the back end will look like? How should be the database? All right. Even for the database designing also, product owner should give the details that this is how it should look. What data, what sort of data will be stored there. These details will be delivered by the product owner to the developers. Now, what role do QA play here? So product owner will also be, giving details for the acceptance criteria. So acceptance criteria, we will use it and we will be creating our uh, test cases, test scenarios, and various other documentations. So let's say there is a feature which product owner has told that we will be working on uh, forget password. All right. So whenever we are logging in, if you look below, there will be some text called forget password. So how do that forget password should work? There will be acceptance criteria. First of all, that it should be displayed on the UI. All right. Next is when the user is clicking on forget password, what will be the next steps? Whether he should be giving out any, captcha should be there, or how will he reset the password, whether he need to give the email ID, whether there will be any redirection, right? So maybe there will be the company will say that we will send out an email. On that email there will be a link, using which link, only using that link they can reset their password. So these sort of things, every detail will be mentioned inside the acceptance criteria. Using that
So
acceptance criteria. Yeah, sorry.
sorry. So acceptance criteria are the requirements that are given by the product owner to us.
Right. Yeah. So majorly, all the details that will be given in the product backlog item, along with the acceptance criteria, will accumulate to the requirements.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, these requirements will be collected by the team lead. Team lead, it again depends how upon the team structure. In some companies, what happens is they won't dedicate any team lead, and there will be no hierarchy at all. There will be QAs, and they need to create their own test cases depending upon that of requirements. In other companies, what happens is there are hierarchies. Team lead will be there, so they will be working on creation of a test plan. All right. So in some scenarios, what happens is like, see, in this case, it's a very small feature, which is forget password. All right. So for this particular thing, we don't need to create a test plan. Test plan we will be creating where there is let's say there is a page called add to cart, shopping cart, something like that. So for that, team lead will be creating the test plan where a lot of features will be involved. So once the test plan is created by the team or lead, now it is a QA's duty. It's a QA's responsibility to write down the test cases. And so theoretically, we'll say that we will be preparing the RTM as well, which is requirement traceability matrix. But in usual terms, it doesn't happen actually. We don't maintain any such things because these things will be moving so fast. since we are following agile technology, things will be moving so fast that we won't be having enough time to create the RTM at any time. So now what happen will be developer will be working on creation of the, developing the product. In the meantime, QAs will be working upon creation of test cases along with test data. All right. So this is a very major point. At what point of time you will be working on creation of test data? Suppose there is a field where you need to, upload some Excel files. All right. So let's say I have a I have an online application which converts Excel sheet to CSV sheet. All right. So for that one, what do I need to do? Like I'll be creating various amount of data where there will be like 100 rows, 1000 rows, 10,000 rows. So I need to prepare such test data to test whether my application is able to do that, right? I'm not missing any um, rows while conversion.
Mm.
So test data creation is a very important thing at that time. Usually in development, what happens is like your backend will be ready first. Backend is nothing but the APIs. So your backend developer will give you the APIs to test. There won't be any front end, what you usually see on the screen. So backend, there will be Swagger files. These Swagger files, let me just share my screen. I'll just quickly check uh, if I have any Swagger file with me.
Sonali, what's actually meaning of Swagger files?
Yeah, I'll get into it. Swagger file is nothing but uh, it's just a collection of APIs. So if you look at this one, so
These are these used in the
yeah,
backend.
these it is basically a form of document which is created by the developer for the APIs that he has created. So what you will be able to do is, you see here post/pet. So this is a API. This is a
Mhm.
URL for that one. So when you'll click on this one, it will give you a complete URL. When you'll scroll down, it will give you what kind of body you should, pass when you're posting a request. It will also give you a sample output, that what output can you expect using this. So this will be shared by the developer. In some cases, what happens is like there is an online tool called Conference, which is again a Jira plugin, where the developer will share this as in the form of document, which is nothing but which is exactly like a Word document. They won't be sharing it like this. They won't be creating any Swagger file. They'll be just sharing it in the form of Word document. That how my API should look, what should be the expected result, what kind of body can you pass on to that. So this is basically Swagger. Now what will happen is like once I have got the APIs, I need to run my testing on those, like what has to be done, what is the expected result. Now, what will be your source of truth for that, for the results, right? You need to, how will you validate whether it's giving the correct answers or not? So you need to go into the database and you need to verify your results from there. So we will look into it when I'll come to the API testing part. This is the part of backend testing. Now, there will be Figma designs. Figma designs will be basically UI designs, how your application should look like. So these again, it will be shared by your product owner. Okay. So now, how will you use these Figma designs? So if you look here, So this is the example, exactly how this is how your Figma designs will look like depending upon the application. So what you need to do here is when your front end is ready, you will come to this Figma design. So this is your source of truth, that this is how my button should look like. This is how the color I am expecting. This is your source of truth. So once your UI is ready, once your front end engineer says that this is a URL, you can go and test it. Okay. So you will go there and you will validate the application, UI application from here. That is that what I'm getting on my application? If it's yes, then fine. If it's not, then you will raise a bug for this. All right. So depending upon everything, how your backend testing goes, functional goes, you'll be raising bugs, several bugs. Once all of those bugs are fixed, you will be closing the PPI. You'll be closing that product backlog item, that this you can mark that as done, that I have completed it from my end. The validation I have finished. These are the results that I have got. If there are any bugs that your manager or your any upper hierarchy is saying that we can pick that bug later, it is not that important, it is not of that high priority, then you need to put down a comment saying that we are keeping these bugs for the next sprint. So usually what happens is we work on the sprint basis. This sprint will be like 2 weeks, for 2 weeks. We have two things here. Sprint is for 2 weeks and release is usually every quarter. Okay. So each quarter you will be doing is, what if a product is ready with you, you'll be giving it to your clients that this is done from my end. Okay. So that will be done, that will be released into the production. Okay.
So,
Apart, yeah.
Sorry, question. So, we won't be getting like a ready-made UI to test, right?
What do you mean by ready-made UI?
Means, as far as we have learned in training, that when we do the manual testing, you have a proper UI and you put in your, for example, let's say login. So you put in the valid, invalid credentials, and then you test it accordingly, what results it gives.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we don't do it that way.
No, we do it that way only. So that's what I have said, right? But it won't be like that direct. Okay. It will be, there will be sprints is that spot only, that we will be breaking our task into smaller tasks. So first I'll be getting the APIs, that I need to test the APIs. It again depends, like let's say if the front end is ready, then you'll have to first validate that it is matching with the Figma designs or not. Okay. When your backend will be ready, you'll be testing the API. Then complete functional, that integration of your backend with your front end.
Oh, okay. So it is the initial stage, you will be testing for the APIs, then you will be checking the UI, and then when everything is integrated together, then you do it that way, right?
Right. That's right.
Got it.
So I was talking about the release, right? So what happens during a release is that there will be like a, let's say, recorder is like what, 3 to 4 months, right? So before the release, before 2 or 3 weeks of the release, there will be a hold, there will be a code freeze. All right. So what happened during that code freeze is that the developer cannot push any new code. There can't be any new feature which can be merged to your application. We will be stopping it right there. During that duration, you will be executing all your regression test cases. So now, can any of one of you tell me what are regression test cases?
Like, you want the example?
Just what is I'm talking about, what is regression test case, if you have any idea?
Yeah. So if there is any change in code or a functionality, you test the whole module for that. That are there any effects of that code change in the overall
Right.
function?
Right. So there will be like, in huge applications, huge organization, what happens is like there will be around 1,000, 2,000 regression test cases with you. So few of them we will be running it through the automation suite. We, as we all know, automation can't be achieved 100%. So there might be another few thousand chunks of test cases with you, which you have to run manually, which you have to execute manually. So during this period of time, code freeze, you will be, executing all those test cases. Okay. So if you found any bugs, it will be a high priority bug for the developer. They'll have to fix it. Again, it can be, prioritized as lower by the product owners or by managers. If they feel like that we can push it in another release, then that's fine. But we usually keep that regression bug as high priority ones. So
So,
yeah,
Sonali, the code freeze is generally done before the release, not before the sprint release.
no.
Okay.
It's before the release only.
Okay. And it's quarterly, maybe within a 3 months or.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
Okay.
like, what will be
So
there?
there will be many features will be released in a
Yeah,
one.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And how long is the code freeze? Like how many days
So
generally?
it again depends upon various organization. It may be around like 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be for that duration. So now coming on to on which environments will the QA do the testing? All right. So in theoretical terms, we'll say like, we'll be having a QA environment and there will be staging environment, UAT environment, and a lot of other stuff. But what happens in practical environments is like there will be a QA environment where you will be doing the testing. Apart from QA environment, there could be a master environment. So let's say I have a feature to test, which we just discussed, which is forget password, right? So let's say my developer says that I'm done with it. You can test it on a QA environment. So let's say my team name is Cyborg. So they will be going to that particular URL, Cyborg. I'll be going to that QA environment and I'll be testing out the application. Once I'll give a good to go from there, what my developer will be doing is they will be raising a PR to merge their code into the master branch. Okay. Once their code is merged to master branch, now what they need to do is they'll be deploying that into the master environment. It's basically like a staging environment. Okay. Where what will happen is like multiple teams will be merging their codes. Did you got me?
Yes.
So master environment is the staging environment.
Exactly. So maybe there will be like 5 other teams working along with me. All right. Each one
Mhm.
of them will be having their own QA environments. But once their QA will give them approval, all of their code will get merged to the master branch and there will be a master environment where they will be deploying their code. So now what happens is like again, you will be doing some round of regression over there, but it won't be that exhaustive. You'll be just making sure that when your branch is merged over there, nothing there else is, functionality is breaking. But you won't be running out all the 1,000 test cases over there, but you will be just running at least 5 to 10 test cases that okay, nothing should be breaking. On the UI also, you can check it. Exploratory testing, kind of, or monkey testing, that's what we call when we'll merge it on to master environment.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
Okay.
is this clear?
Yes.
Now,
Yep.
once we are done with the master environment, what will be happening is like before release, there will be one more environment, which is pre-production environment. All right. So pre-production environment will be having all the configuration, which will be exactly like the production environment. Okay, so what happens is like there could be different data schemas over there or different, CPU configuration for that environment. So you need to validate that whether it will be working fine on my production or not. So usually QAs won't do any testing on production environment. So they will be testing it out on the pre-production environment. On pre-production environment is a scenario where code freeze will happen and you will have to execute thousands of the test cases.
Okay.
Once all the QAs will give a good go ahead for release, all the bugs will be fixed. It will be released to the production environment then. On production environment, usually business analyst team or sales team, they will do some sort of testing over there, just very basic one. They won't do any in-depth testing over there.
Okay.
So am I clear till here? Like, do you guys have any questions?
No, so far.
No, not now.
So this testing environment, QA environment you talked about, right? So it would be already provided, or we are responsible to, prepare that?
Usually what happen is like, it will be there. DevOps team will be creating it. And some scenarios it might be needed that you might have to do something for the creation, but it is usually taken care by DevOps team. So you need not to worry about that.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Cool. I'll just share my screen.
So Sonali, so during the code freeze, there is the master environment, then there is the pre-production environment, then the final is the production environment. Am I correct?
No, before before code freeze, there will be master environment. It is not needed that it will be happening on after the code freeze on master environment. It will be happening before code freeze on master environment.
And in that environment, we do the exploratory testing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just some basic testing that you'll be doing over there. So first of all, what will happen is like whatever feature you have worked on, that particular thing you will test on master environment, whether my code is merged properly or not.
It's
And
kind of sanity testing.
kind of sanity, yeah, exactly. It's kind of
Okay.
sanity testing. You'll be just making sure that nothing else is breaking, just a very overview of all the other things.
Okay.
So this is basically Jira. So you see here, these kind of boards you'll be seeing in your organizations
Sonali, I
or
think
as
you're
well.
sharing the wrong
I think
window.
your
Okay.
screen is freeze.
Is it freezed? Can you
No, I
see
think
it
you're
now?
sharing the wrong window.
Okay, hold on. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is the Jira application that you guys will be working on usually. So this is an example of a PBI, product backlog item. Here, all the details will be given. So this is something like password reset implementation. So whatever I mentioned till now, like the acceptance criteria, what do the developers need to work on, all of the details will be coming over here. And whom is it assigned to? And there could be other details as well. You can put down the comments and history will also be there. Now let's look at the bug. So you'll just see over here. Let's just create one. You see here we will be able to create three things: task, epic, bug. There is an option to create the test case as well. So you need to have a Zephyr plugin for that. So what happens is usually companies will be following like either Zephyr or Azure environment or test trail where they will be writing their test cases. It doesn't happen that they will be, writing their test cases or maintaining their test cases into Excel sheet nowadays. It doesn't happen like that. So you need to make sure that in an interview, if someone asks like, which is your test management tool, you'll be saying that either Zephyr, ZEP, HYR, or Azure DevOps, or TestRail. Either one of these three you need to mention, right?
The file.
Anyways,
Second one is
Azure DevOps
okay. And
or
the
TestRail.
test.
Rail.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So here you need to mention that issue type. Okay. Then you'll be giving the summary, whether like, yeah, I'll just give the same thing. No option to click on forget password. Here you'll need to give each and every detail, like how did you reproduce, how a developer can reproduce this issue. So you'll be saying that go to the URL and click on register, click on login. And then you can give the screenshot. You can attach the screenshot here. Here you'll be having option to add image, add video, these things. Whom do you need to assign it to? So you'll be assigning it to the developer. Labels, again, there will be several labels which will be available. And yeah, you can just click on create. Right now I'm not creating it. So this is basically Jira. I've just given you an overview of the application so that whenever if someone asks you how do you uh, how have you worked on this? So this is what you have to do. Like what happens is like now they may ask you what about the bug life cycle. Okay. So can any one of you give me the bug life cycle? Like how does it happen? Do you guys have any idea about that?
Yeah, there are different status assigned to the bug during the life cycle. So first of all, when the bug is found, it is the status will be new, and when it gets assigned, it will be the status will be assigned. If it is a duplicate bug, like
Hmm.
if some other testers have found it somewhere else, it will be the status will be duplicate. Or when it is fixed, it will be the status will be fixed. Or when it is delayed, like if you decided to resolve it in next sprint, it will be marked as deferred.
Okay. Yeah. So and once the developer has fixed it,
Close.
Closed.
no. Once the developer has fixed it, we'll be marking it as either marking it as resolved
Mhm.
or retest will be option. So
Re
what happens is like reopen.
Sometimes
No,
it's
not
not.
reopen. Reopen is something like when the developer has marked this as resolved, you have tested it once again, but
Yeah.
it's still not resolved. Okay, it's you can still find the bug. In that case, we'll say that we are opening it. There is actually no such thing as reopen. In the bug life cycle, we say that it has reopen. But
Mhm.
here, if you'll see, like it's to do, in progress, and done. But
Mm.
in Jira, we can create this complete life cycle. So usually, what we follow is like to do, and I'll assign it to my developer. Then it will go to in progress. The developer then can mark it as resolve. And if once they have marked it as resolved, it is our duty to pick it up once again. So we can mark it as verified if it's fixed, and then mark it as done. All
Oh,
right.
okay.
So
So
once, yeah.
so basically it's our responsibility to make sure we're checking the Jira board and making sure like which bugs have been resolved and going back and verifying and retesting it to make sure it's been fixed, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's our responsibility. So, what happens is like usually these Jira board is integrated with your email. So you'll be getting regular updates. Like if there is any such thing, like this ticket has been created by me. Okay, so I'll be getting by default, I'll be getting mails if you have marked it as in progress, or if you have marked it as done. So I'll be getting all the mails for that one. But in some case, like if it's assigned to me, then also I'll be getting the mail. There is one more option that I'm watching this issue. All right. I'm watching means like maybe it has to be tested by some other QA. All right. What happens is like, let's say you are doing exploratory testing. You have found out a bug which is responsibility of other team. All right. So in that case, what you will do is you will raise the bug, but you will be automatically added here as a watcher as well. So now this bug could be, assigned to the other QA when it has been marked as resolved. So, but you can still watch it that what is the status of the bug right now. So one thing is also there is like assignee. Right now I have created the bug. I need to assign it to the developer. All right. Once the developer has resolved it, he'll be assigning it back to me. Okay. Once I have verified it, I'll be assigning it back to the developer and I'll be mentioning that I have tested it on the QA environment and we can, or on my local branch. Okay. So we can merge this to the master environment, master branch. Once it gets merged to the master branch, I need to verify it over there as well. And then I can mark it as done.
Okay.
Is this clear?
Yeah. So what kind of like statuses are there in Jira board? What all are
In
what are the list of like bug status?
So these things are very customizable. Okay, these all status there is basically option to create this complete cycle. We can do it on our own. In some of the organization, it's manager's responsibility. Other organization, it could be a QA lead's responsibility, or other authorization like other team IT members or someone's. They can also do these things. So it again depends, like they can be, it could be just like verify, validate, resolved, right, these things. So
Okay.
first of all it will be in to do state.
Mhm.
Then when the developer is working on it, they can mark it as in progress. Okay, once, so that we got to know that it's they are working on it. If they are not working on it, they'll keep it on hold, they'll keep it in to do state only. They
Mm.
won't, what happens is like, if you have marked it as in progress, for a QA also it can come like that. Okay. So once the developer has marked it as resolved, it is coming to us. We have to validate it. We can put down the comment. We can put down the tag as in progress. So
Okay.
right now, let's say assignee is Sonali Mathur. It means like I need to work on this, and the bug status is in progress mode, right? Which means that I'm working on the testing. So they'll be tracking it in, your daily stand up, that it's in progress from last 2 days. It's in progress from last 3 days. What, like, are you stuck somewhere? Why is it getting delayed? So
Mm.
these kind of questions could be there.
Okay.
So instead, what happens is like, they'll usually keep it in to state if they are not working on it. All right.
Okay.
So no need to give false, uh, you know, statuses that you're working on it.
Okay.
Because in a sprint, they'll very closely watch each and every task.
Got it.
Okay. So we'll look at one of the application. Just give me a second. So in the meantime, can any one of you tell me about like what are the different uh, status codes that we come across during the testing or
During the API testing,
yeah.
400, 401.
200, 202, 204, 201,
Mm-hmm.
401, 400, 403, 404, 500, and 501.
Can you also explain me what are all these things? At least some basic one. What is 200? What is 400, 300, and 500?
400, 200 is the success for the successful. If your API, when you are testing an URL and you got the response back, that is 100% successful. So the
Okay.
code is 200. And if you do
Mhm.
something bad, it's a bad request from your side. You did some mistake, like a post, you put a method different, and any URL you did a mistake, then you get a 400. And
Mhm.
for 500 is from there is an issue from the server side.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Cool. Okay. So we are right now looking at this application. Okay. You can see my screen, right? Q card front end.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So this is basically a e-commerce website. It's a dummy website only right now. So what we can do over here is uh, just give me a minute. Think. Hmm, I'm not able to actually share my complete screen. Okay. Skip. So there is an option first to log in. Okay. So if you'll see here, let's say we had that thing implemented that forget password should be there, but we don't see anything. Let's say the username gives something invalid. Okay. In case I forgot my password, there is no such functionalities. So in such scenarios, I can just raise a bug. Now I'm coming here. Do you know anything about the developers tool?
Mm,
Which part of the develop? Like, what do you mean?
So this one.
That's a DOM.
So
yeah.
yes, we call it as dev tool.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
Yeah.
do.
yeah,
We did it on work on some automation work.
yeah, we worked on it,
hmm,
but we didn't know it is called Dev tool.
yeah. So it is huge. It is used for manual testing also very much. It's not just for automation. For automation, you will just mainly use this element step, right?
Yes.
For manual testing, you'll have to look here, console. You'll have to look in the network tab. Now let's talk about the console first. Console is a part of the UI only. Okay. So if there are any errors which you're seeing here, right, you need to raise it as a um, bug. Okay. This is also a part of your testing only. So if let's say here, when I was not able to log in, but it shouldn't be throwing an error over here. Okay. So there is one more thing called network tab. This will basically will be collecting all the APIs which are hitting. So I'll just let me log in. Mm, I don't have a password over here. So if you look on my network tab, okay, so these are the APIs which got triggered when I logged into the application. Do you see it? So first one was already there. So it was from my previous thing only. So just ignore that. So what happened was like login, then products. So product is what it is doing is basically it is showing me the complete list of the products.
Okay.
Then it is showing me the cart details. So whatever items do I have into my cart, it is also showing that. Okay. So there are like basically if you'll click on all, there are a lot of things which are getting triggered when I'm, logging into the application, when I'm scrolling or doing anything. But we don't need to look into the all thing. Will be as a manual testing for APIs. Our focus will be just on this XHR slash fetch.
Okay.
Okay. So any error, anything which you're seeing that, this is not working fine. So if I'll just click on login, okay. So you're seeing here the status code is 201 created. Okay. So 201, why am I getting this? Can you just tell me like when do we use 201? When do we get a 201 code? It
When
is for
you get
created
the
only.
body response, you
It's majorly when we are posting something. Okay, posting a request. So in posting the request, I'll be passing some body. So here, what was my body? So we'll just look at this. Okay. You'll be getting complete details over here. This was a post type request. What were the headers which were included? What was my response for this one? And what was my request data? So request data, see here, I'm getting the username and password. So this was my body. Is this thing clear?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So will
So
it
if
always show your password and username like that?
so, it depends, right? So right now this API was for login. Okay. Now let's say I want to add this into my cart. Okay.
Sonali, generally the APIs are more secure. So
Yeah.
here the password and username is
Exactly.
showing the
Hmm.
exactly what we put it. But
Hmm.
these are more secure, so it's supposed not to be shown, right?
Right. As I mentioned, it is just a dummy website that we are using for testing purpose. So that's why it's showing the username and password. So usually it will be encrypted and you won't be able to see the password. And it won't, in the database also, it will be getting stored using, some encryption.
Yes.
So you won't be able to directly uh, get someone's password from the database.
Okay. So there may be some other tool now, like a hacker tool or something to hack the password and username.
So basically what happens is like, they will be using there are some things like SHA 256 and all. So this is like a type of encryptions that usually the developers will use. So if the hacker get to know like what kind of encryption they have done, so they can
Okay.
decode the password. But it usually happens very securely, like they'll be doing a lot of encryption in many layers also. So it won't be that easy, but
And we are
um,
not able to do it, right? Because we don't know, there will be that always a encrypted data, so we definitely not know key how to what's the exactly username and the password, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we won't be. But here in this case, this is my username and password only, the person who wants to log in. But you're right that we shouldn't be sending it in the body like this only. I shouldn't be able to see this in the body.
Yeah.
Uh, but no one else can look at this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But it is getting stored into the database just like this. So this is again, where as a QA, you can raise a bug. It's a security bug that you can raise that it should be
Yeah,
encrypted.
we are able to see the username and the password.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that's a kind of bug now.
Yeah. It's a very major bug actually. It's a very severe bug with the high priority ones also.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So here, if you see that it is right now, it's blocking me to, add any other item into the uh, cart. Okay. So you'll see that it is not able to, even push the status, get the status. So if it is a API failure, it would give me some result like 400 or 500 series is error. error. Okay, so you'll be thinking about like what went wrong. So can you just think about it, like what could be the issue? Where is it failing?
The request didn't go through.
Yeah, right. But why? Where's the failure then?
The request didn't reach to the server. I mean backend.
Exactly. That's right. But then uh, where can I find this failure? I
In
can
the
see it on the UI that
in the
yeah, it
console
is
actually.
in the console. Exactly. So you'll be seeing that in console, I'm getting a lot of errors, refuse to execute stack path as a script, these things. So you need to take screenshot of this error, and then you need to raise the bug that this is failing over here. So whenever you're coming onto the network tab, so first my intuition will be this only, that it's not, it's throwing some error, so it should be basically a backend issue only. But when I'm coming here, I'm seeing that I'm not getting any status, which means that it is a UI issue. So on console tab only, I'll be getting the failures. So I need to raise the bug like that. I should be clear that this is a front end issue. Let's say, in this case, I was able to, debug it on the console app, that I'm getting the error. In some scenarios, what happens is like you won't be able to see the error on both the sides. It will get really difficult that where's exactly the failure happening. So what do you need to do is, there will be logs of the application. Okay, these logs will be, you can access those logs. You need to go and read those logs, at where exactly the failure has happened. So in the interview, the interviewer may ask that, uh, let's say, a defect has been released into the production. Client has reported that issue. Now it's your responsibility to do a root cause analysis for that bug. So how will you do that? Can any one of you give me uh, some idea, like what will be your approach?
Start with the error log, like the whole log, and see where the errors are occurring, where the error codes are.
Exactly. So the thing is, like, first of all, first your step will be like, you'll be, you'll try to reproduce the issue on the QA environment or on the master environment. Okay, you can't directly get the logs of the users. Um, okay, you won't be able to
Okay.
get it from the user,
Yeah. So we
from
need
the
to
client.
recreate the bug ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. You need to recreate the bug on the QA environment or on the master test environment. All right. If you're not able to reproduce it over there as well, it might be possible that you need to raise it on, create it on pre-production environment. If it's not happening there as well, then you'll get to know that this is basically either a deployment issue, some configuration issue, but it is definitely not a functional issue. It is not a functional bug. Is this thing clear?
Okay.
Got
Yep.
it?
Can you repeat it?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to mention here is that first you will try to reproduce it on the QA environment. If
Mhm.
it's not reproducible there, then you'll go to the master environment. If it's not reproducible there as well, you will go to the pre-production environment. On pre-production environment also, if you're not able to reproduce it, if you're not able to create the bug which your client has raised, which means that it is either a deployment issue,
Mm.
some configuration issue,
Mm.
or but it is definitely not a functional issue.
Okay.
Okay.
It is not a defect leak, but there could be some issue from the DevOps team side which has caused this issue to happen, right?
Okay.
So there could
It's
be
maybe
issue.
deployment issue or the configuration issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Okay. So let's say that you were able to reproduce in your environment, okay? So
Mhm.
first, what will you do is you will then try to, first look at the console tab, network tab, and then you will go into the logs. You will try to get as much as evidence as possible, and you will, then take it to the developer that this is what I have collected, and you'll further try to debug that issue with him or her. So why are we doing this? Okay, what you can say is like, this is not my responsibility. If the bug is there, developer has to anyways fix it. But as a QA, this is your responsibility that you need to collect as much as data, as much as evidence as possible to, further protect such kind of bug leakage. Okay. In other scenarios, you'll be taking care of these kind of edge cases. You need to again write a test case which will be validating this bug. So
Okay.
what happens is majorly that, let's say you have created 10 scenarios, you have tested those 10 scenarios, right? This bug came from a, you know, edge case for which you had not written a test case. So you'll have to now write down the test case as well. And this will be added to the regression suite. So we will make sure that every time we are releasing, we are also making sure that we are not introducing such kind of bugs again.
Okay.
Is this clear? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll now come to the uh, Postman. Can you see my Postman application?
No.
No? Okay. I don't know why I'm able to share only one screen at a time. Okay. So this is how your application, this Postman application will look like. What could happen is like your um, developer could share this. You're seeing these collections, right? These folders are nothing but collection of various APIs. So in this collection, I have 4 APIs. In this collection, I have 3 APIs. So these collections could be shared by your um, developer, or either they could share your, like I talked about in the initial time, like they can share either Swagger files with you, or they can share a document with you. Okay.
Okay.
So in this, how will you, let's talk about this. So this is a API where I need to add a book to my database. All right. This is till this .com. This is what we call as URI. Okay. This is what is query parameter. So, sorry, this is the path. This is the path, which my library name, you can, sorry, API name, you can say it as. Okay. Since it's a post request, I am giving some body over here. I also need to make sure that I'm sending it in the form of JSON. So raw, and then I need to select it as JSON. If I look into the headers, I'm just keeping the default headers for this. So no need to worry about this. And I'll just click on send. So it will now, what things I need to verify for these APIs? First of all, can any one of you can give me some idea, like what things will you test?
The response body, the code, the time
Hmm.
it's taken.
Okay. So in response body, basically what details? So we will be checking each and everything. So for this API, the expected response includes message, ID, and the field, like the value for it. Okay. So it has successfully added and it has given me some ID. So there might be some scenario if the API is failing. Okay. If the API is failing, I'm getting the 200 status only. But in the response, I'm getting only message successfully added. I'm not getting this ID. So in such scenario, you need to, raise a bug. Is
Okay.
this thing clear? So how will you basically test the API?
So when every time there is a post request, there will be an ID, right?
Yes. So I'm just referring to this particular API.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So in this particular API, I'm expecting there should be two fields, which is message and ID,
Mhm.
and both of them should have a value. This will accept the value as successfully added, and this will give me a ID.
Okay. So whenever you will get an API to test, this
Hmm,
this expectation will be provided, right?
exactly. So this expectation will be provided in the Swagger document, Swagger file, or in the document provided by the developer.
Okay.
Okay. So this is one part of testing. I'll be also looking at the headers here. What headers I'm getting in the response. These things also we will validate. All right.
Okay.
Let's look at the other one. So this is also a post request. This is my URI. This is the path.
This is URI or URL?
No, URI. We call it URI.
Okay.
Yeah, URL
Okay.
is a part of URI, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So in this way, what is URL?
See, in APIs, we'll call it as URI only.
Okay, for the APIs, we call it URIs.
Exactly.
Okay, otherwise actually when we learn it, then everybody call it URL. So we thought it's a URL.
See, the
Will
thing is, we have like a question: what is the difference between URI and URL? So the whole
okay.
thing is called URI. And as far as I know, the first thing, HTTPS rahulshettyacademy.com
Yeah, that we call it URL.
URL. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Usually in companies will only call this one as URI.
Mhm.
Maybe. Yeah. I'll just check it again. Okay, so this is the query parameter that we give. Okay, key is equals to QA click 3. So basically, when I'm trying to apply any sort of filter, okay,
Mhm.
so here I'm trying to give a filter for QA click. Okay, this is my key and this is the value that I'm looking for. So this is the query parameter.
Query parameters are also provided by the developers, or we have to create it by our own.
So they will be giving some sort of sample query parameters. Okay, then later on we will have to dig deeper. We'll have to create edge scenarios based on the query parameters also. Okay, so in let's look at a simpler example. Okay, in this case I'm looking for the book. I'm trying to get all the books whose author name is John Foer. Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm trying to get all the books. So this is the result. Let's see if I've given my name here, what will happen in that scenario. So you see it is giving for my name also. Let's my name here. So maybe what I need to do over here is that I need to go into the database and check whether this book's author name is actually Neha or not. Okay, if it's not, in that case this is giving the false result. Okay, so in this scenario, I need to raise a bug that this is not the author name, but you are showing the result like that.
So we are doing the invalid testing.
Exactly. So this is the edge case scenario, negative scenario that you're doing.
Yeah, okay.
But
Okay.
Yeah, but how do we know that this author is not like there is no
Hmm.
red flag on this author?
Okay. Yeah. So this thing we will be, validating all of these things from the database.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
By using
So
SQL.
SQL, exactly. So depending upon your organization, what SQLs you're using, SQL Server or MySQL or MongoDB, that will be the source of truth for us. Okay.
So if the author name, whatever I generated, and if it is present over there, so it's not a bug.
Exactly.
In
Then
that
it's,
case.
yeah, exactly. So you'll have to do a lot of querying over the database as well when you're, doing the API testing, because at that time the source of truth is your database only. So let's say I am posting a request over here, okay, that I need to add this book. Now this is saying that this book is already there. Okay. So I'll go and check into the database whether this book is there or not. Okay. So if it's saying that this book is already there, then it should be present on my database table. So
Hmm.
if it's not there, then I can again, it is my responsibility to raise the bug. So it is not just 400 code status code that we are looking at, or 500 status code that we are looking at, that only in those scenarios we can raise a bug. We have to validate it. This is a part of data validation that we are doing. We'll have to verify each and every detail from the database.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So API testing we are doing for to validate the database, the data of the database.
Not
Exactly. So it's not just validating the data of the database, we are testing the API only.
It's an example actually. I'm just
Yeah,
asking.
yeah, exactly. So what we will say is that in API testing, we have done data validation as well, where we have taken database as a source of truth. All right. So, well, I don't have any API right now with me, but there are few scenarios where you can do is what you can do is, okay, not over here. Mm, no, it is not taking. Uh, I'll maybe tomorrow I'll show you one such API where it will take header as file, and we can upload a CSV file also, CSV file, Word file, or some image file. We can upload such files as well. So what will happen in such scenario is, like, let's say I have a API, okay, that will read all the uh, data from my CSV, and then it will just put it down into the database. Is this thing clear? So my source of truth is file now, the CSV file, and not the database. Got
okay.
it?
So
Yep.
then
So what
how would the URI be used then if you're gonna use the CSV file?
URI will remain the same. It's see, let's say my URI is this only. It depends upon the developer how he creates that URI. It's just the header I'm referring to. Okay,
Okay.
so there are scenarios when you're uploading various attachments on any such applications, like let's say LinkedIn only. There is an option when you're creating a post, you can attach the files like images or videos or PDFs. So URI, each API will be having the URI. Okay, need not to have a query parameter. It's not necessary. It's not a mandatory thing that you need to have a query parameter. All right. This is basically filtering that we are doing, but
Right.
there could be an option that I need to add a file. So in
No,
such
so my
scenarios,
question is like is the so the data is going to be validated from the CSV file, right?
right.
And so the URI itself, like, are you going to be using, is it going to, is API still going to use the URI link to kind of see um like that data as well?
See, yeah, the thing is these URIs will be provided by the developers, right? So there could be the URI name could be like let's say upload file.
Okay.
Okay, it need not know to be maps API place. It
Okay,
could be
okay, I
upload.
got you. I
Yeah.
got you. Okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So these are the things that will usually validate in the API testing. Again, here also I need to validate all the fields should be displayed. Status, place ID. This could be various fields. Okay, need not to be just these 5. For every different APIs, the field could differ. So for this API, if you look at it, these are the different fields. And again, now you need to, uh, you need to validate about the result as well, that the types, if I'm seeing, then it should be a string and not just an integer. So these kind of values. So accuracy here, it's showing as 50. So on the database, what could happen is like that particular field will be taking the input in the form of, uh, let's talk about post, and I'll give you the example over here. Okay. So in the database, each uh, can you see my this database? Yeah. Can you see my workbench?
No.
No.
No. Okay. Mm. So this is basically uh, my database. Just
So for the database, there is another URL or something that they provide us.
no. The database will be basically what happens is like, definitely there will be some URL, but you need to connect to it using this application. So right now I'm using MySQL server. So for that, I can connect it using this local instance, root, and then password. I need to give these details.
Okay, so all the database data is stored in the MySQL. It's
Yeah,
a
for
another.
my case, it's not, it's a tool to take my database to how do I want to read it. But
There are another tool also.
MySQL server, it's basically MySQL server. It's hidden. You can only see it using Workbench, this MySQL Workbench only. So
There are
we
other
won't
tools
say that.
also.
Other tools are like SQL Server Studio, which is for SQL Server.
Okay. So many companies have their different, they have their own.
X.
Okay.
Yeah. So usually we'll use either MySQL or we'll use SQL Server. Nowadays, MongoDB has also come up, but it will be good if we'll stick to MySQL or SQL Server. They are like very similar to each other.
So these are database management tools.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So here, if you can see, I have this. So you see, this e-commerce is a database. In that database also, I'll have several tables. Okay. If on these tables also, if I look ID, these are the fields: ID, first name, last name, email, password. So I'll just, let me quickly query it. Why no database is selected? It is returning the data, but it's not showing me the exact data. So what happens is like basically each of these fields will be having their type as well. Okay. So let's say here I have product ID name. So name cannot be an integer. Okay. So it can't be like 52 I have given or something like that. Okay. So it is basically also part of negative testing. So let's say from here accuracy, if I'll give a integer that test. So it should basically throw an error. See 500 internal server error. This is basically the wrong one. It's saying that I'm not able to access the server only for this. Did you guys understand this particular scenario when I'm giving the invalid type, data type?
Actually, Sonali, where you type the invalid data, actually I didn't see.
Yeah, me too. I didn't say it.
So I came back now. Okay.
Yeah, now it's
Here, sorry about that confusion. So accuracy type I've given as test and I'm sending it. So it's giving me 500 internal server error. So my API is not able to touch the server. In this scenario, this API is not built, properly. You can raise a bug for this as well. It should be saying that, not found or, so the fields are incorrect. The message should be proper, shouldn't be 500 internal server error, because my server is proper, that I know, right? Because when I'm giving the correct values, I'm able to hit the API.
yes.
Yeah. So these sort of testing also we will do, where we will be playing with the type of data as well. So what will happen if we'll try to, do some negative testing using the data, using the body that we have with us.
So this will be like more of a manual testing, right?
Yeah, this is manual testing completely. Suppose API testing automation, we are doing usually using REST assured. So I'll just
That's
quickly,
another tool.
that is basically the code that will write. Okay. We need to write a complete framework for that one. And only then we will be able to automate, will be able to test the APIs. I'll quickly share the screen.
So like
Yeah.
generally one sprint, like how many APIs will you be getting to test?
It depends upon the feature. Okay, you can't say that you'll be getting how many APIs can you get. It might be possible that for those 2 weeks the developer was not able to develop those APIs. They were still working on those things.
Mhm.
So it could be a lot of such scenarios. These things can't be calculated, that how many per sprint have you tested the API.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is basically the uh, how we will do the uh, API
Automation.
automations. Yeah, exactly.
It's another tool that is rest assured.
This is basically rest assured is a library. It's a dependency that we use.
Mhm.
Uh, this we are automating using Java plus rest assured. And we are doing it on I'm doing it on the Eclipse. Usually people will use IntelliJ or this Eclipse only.
Okay. And Postman is generally used for the manual testing,
Exactly.
manual
Yeah.
API testing. Okay.
Manual API testing.
So
That's right.
so like if you have like a Maven project, you will be adding the dependencies of this rest assured,
Right.
and then you
Exactly.
can code these things, right?
Right. Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah. So these are all the dependencies that we have added. So Hamcrest is basically used for assertions and all. How do we want to handle those things? So if you guys want, we can have another session on the API testing as well. Right now, we still need to look into the authorization part. That is also very important questions, which is asked. Maybe tomorrow or whenever Radhika schedules next call, we can look into that one.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
Radhika messaged us ki the classes will be on the daily basis till 15th, sorry,
Right.
17th Feb.
Yeah, that's what she mentioned. So this is basically it's night for me. So the thing is, tomorrow morning she was mentioning that maybe tomorrow from morning we have to start, but tomorrow
Mhm.
morning I won't be able to because it's already night. So I had
Yeah.
asked her for 7:30. So maybe day after tomorrow. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
from that we can start. I'll just check with Radhika if we can do that. And
But
so
in
can
the
you
night,
guys like,
mhm,
yeah.
sorry. Sonali, in the night we have one more class with the Usha as well.
Oh,
So I
okay.
have to.
Because she mentioned it to me that we need to have it in the morning because I'm comfortable in my nighttime only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever is fine, anything is fine for me. But
Mhm.
preferably for me also, I'll go for my nighttime.
Yeah, we will check with the, yeah, whenever Radhika will
Hmm.
mention, then we will check with her. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. So in next sessions, if you guys can let me know, like if you have some good knowledge on the automation side, at least basic Java thing, then we can dig deeper into the API automation as well and the UI automation as well.
Okay. Yeah, we
Yeah.
know we have the basic knowledge of for the automation Selenium. Yeah, and we create a one Maven project also. And so yeah, we are doing the training with Usha also regarding the test ng and the Selenium framework.
Yes.
Okay. 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 Great then. Okay. So I'll just check with Radhika as well, and then accordingly we can move ahead. So if Usha is taking care of the, I think automation part, then maybe we can skip that. And
Sonali, if it's possible, can we create in a short from the manual testing? Like
uh,
the first part is what we are doing, and in a short actually, not in a, if
okay.
everybody is agree.
Yeah, actually,
Like right now.
no, later maybe.
No,
But
later on we can
Mm-hmm.
do it. No problem with that actually. Like we are,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Radhika said that we are doing on a e-commerce project, right? So we want to know each and everything from the basic. Let's that these are the requirements and this is our project. So we can able to answer it in a better way.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
if
Yeah.
everybody
Sure.
is
We can do that.
yeah agree with me.
yeah, that's what I was also thinking.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
how do you prepare a real-time test case? What does it
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
like if you are doing it for manual, you'll be doing it in Excel, right?
Yeah,
No,
we
manually
are
we'll be
okay with
doing it
that.
in Sapphire. Hmm.
In a short also we are okay, but yeah, we actually we can get the some idea that right now we are creating the test cases, we are creating the test
Mm-hmm.
plan, we are creating the RTM document and like that.
Yeah, execute
Okay.
the end-to-end flow of testing, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Sure. Sure. We can do that.
Yeah, better we can create it from the base now, so it will be good for to understand then when we started the API testing and then we will do the automation testing, so it will be great help.
Okay. Definitely. Definitely. Uh, so maybe can we,
Whenever the next class
do
is.
you yeah, we can discuss that. So like do you guys have anything added into your resume, like already like work project you have worked on, any such thing?
No, we
No,
didn't
I
mention
think that was the
anything.
point of this to actually like
Yeah,
get a project idea.
Yes.
Okay. 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 Cool. I'll take care of
that's
that then.
why I suggest ki if you it's better you start from the scratch.
Okay. Sure. We'll do that. Definitely. Cool. All right then. So next class we'll look into this, the basics. Okay.
Okay, thank you so
Okay.
much,
All right.
Sonali.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Cool.
Thank,
Bye.
All right.
thank
Bye.
you. Bye.